Morning, beloveds. Okay. I have a long day ahead of me, an interesting day ahead of me, but an exciting day ahead of me. One, I have to go to work. And once I get off of work, then we are going to converge on Lilia's house. And from Lilia's house, we are going to go and find something called the Blue Willow Bookstore. And, which I've never heard of, but it's an independent bookstore. Yay, independent bookstores. But Mercury Stardust is coming to the Blue Willow Bookstore to sign her books. So the four of us have all got tickets, which means we bought her book. And so we're going to go meet her and get her to sign the books. And, you know, yay, I'm super excited. So she's called the Handyman. So I'm very excited. But that's what's on my bookshelf today. But first, we are going to have Courage, Conviction, and Consciousness. And it is August 24th. Our title is Non-Resistance. And our author is Daisy Baum. And it's Studies in Divine Science from 1909. So, non-resistance. From the day that Jesus propounded his doctrine of non-resistance to the present time, there has been an increasing interest in that thought. Jesus, speaking to the people in his wonderful Sermon on the Mount, came at length to that particular fallacy in the popular belief. Ye have heard it said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Over against this concept of law and justice, he placed a new idea, that you resist not evil, exhorting the people to carry this doctrine to the length of loving their enemies, giving good for evil, and blessing for cursing. Centuries have passed since that truth was proclaimed, and while it has not been lived strongly during that time, it has nevertheless survived, and today divine science renews the teachings that resistance has no true place in God's creation, and that harmony is the only law. The revival of interest in this law of truth is especially opportune at the time when, to many earnest souls, there seems to be so much in the world to overcome, and which apparently cannot be overcome unless it is resisted. Sin and sickness seem to have multiplied despite all the customary efforts to counteract them. And the belief may be quite natural that the great need is for some resisting force to overcome them. Resistance as a means of securing harmony is a fallacy. True harmony cannot spring from inharmony, nor peace from discord. Resistance fails because it is not in accord with harmony, which is the only law. All right. Now, I'm going to remind you, that was written in 1909. It's been more than 100 years. And we have seen people use non-resistance. Mahatma Gandhi being one of them. We've also seen what the war on cancer has done, what the war on obesity has done, which is resistance. So, now, there is no way in 10 minutes I can do justice to what she just said. It's not possible. I could write a month of sermons and do a sermon every day and not touch what she just said. But what I am going to say is, and I do not remember who said it, but it was a quote about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. When we live in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, what happens is we all end up blind and hungry. Think about it for a minute. So that's one of the reasons why, and I mentioned the war on cancer, because what they have found is, rather than having a war on cancer, they have found that supporting the immune system seems to be far more effective. Okay? So they went from fighting against what they wanted to eradicate to supporting and working in harmony with the immune system, whose job it is. Okay. I could not even touch Mahatma Gandhi, but, and he's not the only example. He's just the one that popped into my head. And Ernest was a big believer in being for something and against nothing. Now, that being said, and Reverend Jesse said it on Sunday, I believe it was this Sunday, it could have been the Sunday before, that there are things that we do have to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. But when we do that, what we want to do is offer a solution on how we can make it better. Okay? And then we had a soul session with Tracy Brown. If you don't know who Tracy Brown is, go to the Creative Life Spiritual Center page, YouTube, look up the soul session playlist and find a Tracy Brown. Okay. She is an amazing teacher. And I'm privileged to know her, and have met her several times, to know her. It helps that she's from Texas. So, but when I said that, she pushed back on me a little bit. And she said, no. There are certain things. So there are times that we have to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. This is not okay. And I say that on a regular basis, being a woman in this teaching, being a woman existing in this world, there are times that as women, we are expected to do things that are counter to our best, to what is best for us. But we're expected to do them because we're women. And so it's like, no. I'm going to stand up and say no. But that doesn't mean I'm resisting. I'm making a different choice. And so that's how we can kind of reconcile. It's like and then there's that other one where what you resist persists. What you are fighting against is because you're not focused on the solution. And so that's where, New Thought gets a little messy right there. And I will straight up admit, New Thought gets a little messy right there. Because there are things that we straight up say, nope, this is not okay. And we are not okay with this. And so how do we resist that without resisting that? Well, what we do is we look at how we can do it better and how we can do it in harmony that will support the system. Because that really is where the strength of New Thought is. It's like, okay, so we're not okay with this. What do we want in its place? And so that is what we build. We build the structure that we want in place of what we don't want. So we are not fighting this. We are simply building something new. We are making a different choice. Now, have I done Daisy any justice at all? Absolutely not. I commend that to you. I commend, go back and read it and figure out and look up non-resistance movements. Look up and see who has done it and what they have done. And let me remind you that absolutely everyone who has become a pillar of non-resistance, they all have feet of clay. They all have feet of clay. Okay. Nobody has been 100% perfect, but we have to accept that. Okay. If we're going to get anywhere. And that's one of the reasons why why we call him the master teacher. Because he said it's in love. And I'm starting to see a new meme that really is pretty incredible, where it's talking about how neighbor is not a geographical term, it's a moral concept. Love your neighbor. And that's part of that non-resistance. People out there are going to make choices that you're not going to agree with. As long as they're not hurting themselves or hurting anybody else. So we're coming into pumpkin spice season. And I fall on two sides of that. Because, there's more than one. And it's like all of the people who are like, pumpkin spice, this, that, that. It's like, why are you telling people, why are you against something that makes somebody happy? You know, why are you against pumpkin spice? Why are you giving people a hard time about something that makes them happy, that doesn't hurt anybody? And that right there, I think that's where we've got it wrong. If it's not hurting anybody and it makes them happy, leave them alone. And that is non-resistance. Is it the end all and be all? No, but it's a good place to start. You know? Yeah, it's a good place to start. If somebody is doing something that makes them happy, and they're not hurting anybody, and they're not hurting you, even if you don't understand it, let them be. And maybe get to know them. Ask them a couple of questions. And start on that understanding, because that's where love is. Love is in the understanding. And if you can't understand them, then at least just leave them alone. Yeah, I've been bullied. And I've been bullied for stupid things. And I've been bullied for things that I don't have any control over. I.e. my hair color and my eye color. I was a redhead growing up. I have some energy around this. I have a lot of energy around this. But when it comes to bullies, non-resistance is the only way for it to stop. When I stepped into my power in high school is when the bully that had bullied me all the way through middle school, fortunately he was a year older than me, so I had my 8th grade year to, get my feet underneath me. So when I came to high school and this bully came at me again, I looked him straight in the eye and said, at least I'm human. And walked away. And never, and that was it. That was it. That's when it stopped. I didn't resist him. I didn't react to him. And that's what non-resistance looks like. So, and yeah, so, and I've seen it from both sides. If you don't understand and they're not hurting anybody, let them be. All right. Daisy Baum. What was the name of that book? It's from the Divine Sciences, Studies in Divine Science, Non-Resistance. There is so much. Like I said, I could talk about it every day for a month and still not do it justice. But if it's a conversation you want to have, you know what? Email info@creativelife.org and let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Non-resistance. Okay. All right. Ooh, the mission today. Should we choose to accept it? Oh, God. Let me go back and see if Daisy's got a good suggestion for me. Harmony is the only law. And okay. Is she, well, all right. Come on. All right. I don't know that I can. Yeah. Harmony is the only. All right. I'm struggling. I'm sorry. The mission today, should we choose to accept it? Actually, you know what? Rather than giving you a mission today, I'm going to give you homework. Go read the Sermon on the Mount. Go read the Sermon on the Mount. Go read both of them if you're an Ernest Holmes fan. Go read Jesus' Sermon on the Mount and see and dig into what Jesus meant by non-resistance. By what they mean by offering a blessing for what he means by offering a blessing for a curse. And then if you're in it, Ernest Holmes has a Sermon on the Mount as well. Go read his. And see what Ernest and Jesus meant by being against nothing and for something. And what I am for is harmony, and what I am for is love, and what I am for is peace. And what that means for me is I have to choose and decide what peace looks like to me. And then I have to live my life that way. So see what non-resistance is, see what peace and harmony and looks. Go read the Sermon on the Mount, both of them, from Ernest and Jesus. And figure it out. So not really a mission today so much, but kind of homework. Because like I said, non-resistance is one of those topics that we could talk about for days and really only scratch the surface. But the point is harmony, peace, and love. So, all right. I am going to give you the other mission, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. This is a heavy topic. Non-resistance is a heavy topic. There are a lot of, it's so simple and yet so complicated. It is about harmony and love and yet you want to do this in a way that you stay safe. So, and trust me, as a woman, I know what that means. I know what that means. I know what it means to have to protect myself and yet still remain in harmony with what I believe and do what I believe is right. So, yeah. So, spiritual practice of self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup if you are going to live a life of service. So, and it's as simple as taking a deep breath before you speak. Trust me, that's why I kept stopping and thinking about what I was going to say, because there's so many ways that you could go with this and we could end up down really dark paths really fast. So it's like, how can I do this in harmony? How can I do this in love? How can I do this in peace? How can I do this in joy? How can I touch this topic, which is, a core of our beliefs and yet in the world that we live in. So, and one of the ways we do that is by remembering that there is only one source. And we go back to that source, especially when we are struggling. We go back to those teachings and go, I can do this. I got this. I got this. I'm going to make a different choice, a better choice, a more loving choice. I'm going to choose peace. So, and that's where that divine no comes in. Because I give you all of the nap and the break and the walk and all that. But I also remind you that you can say yes to things that push you a little out of your comfort zone. But you can also say no to things that are draining you. And no is not a resistance. Okay. No is simply making a choice. Okay. So remember that you are allowed to say no. Just like every now and again, you might want to say yes because it'll push you just a little bit out of your comfort zone or a lot. Because what you really want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. And if you scroll back a video or two, I posted an Instagram video about getting out of your comfort zone and how it was lighthearted and fun. And it was just recognizing, when we step out of our comfort zone, that's what it can be like. And yet our higher self is there to catch us. So, all right. So practice on yourself. Practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. I'm not going to jump the rest of this spiel because I'm kind of right now. So, I am going to remind you though, the rest of the suggestions to do something to engage your mind and your body, to drink plenty of water. They're talking like it's going to be 105, 106 today. Drink plenty of water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Your brain works better, your body works better, and your skin looks better when you are well hydrated. I do encourage you to get that early in your day bright light. I woke up grumpy this morning, and struggling to get going, and the bike ride in the sunlight helped. That circadian rhythm is a real thing. It's a natural hormone cycle. I went out to stimulate my natural hormone cycle. So, I do encourage you 5 to 10 minutes in that 7 to 9 a.m. sunlight. Artificial light will work too. And if you need more support than that, please Google seasonal effect disorder lamps. Okay. They're a real thing, especially for people who get up before the sun. They can help. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. So, please, there are many resources. I'm only scratching the surface of the resources that there are for you. If you want, okay. Oh, Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around. It's all the time. Because heaven is a mindset. It is a state of mind. And it is probably a non-resistant state of mind because you look around the world and recognize it's all God. It's all God. And you know what? There are a whole lot of godlings running around making choices. And sometimes we make choices that go awry. So, and that's okay. That's okay. When we realize that our choice has gone awry, then we make a different choice. So give yourself that grace, because God certainly will. God certainly will. And if you can, please grant that grace to other people. We're all just walking each other home. And sometimes we're going to trip and fall on the path. And when we do that, that's when everybody else can hold their light a little higher so that we can see our path and pick ourselves up. Okay? All right. And then, like I said, I'm talking about opening the windows of our soul, recognizing that heaven is a mindset, not a place you have to get to, but can become any place you are. All right? Look for the good and praise it. Emma is spot on in that non-resistance work. Look for the good and praise it. You want to change your mind? Look for the good and praise it. Went on the bike ride this morning. Like I said, I was grumpy and started out kind of quiet, but we started cat spotting, and spotting cats, that'll boost my mood anytime. Look for the good and praise it. Okay? All right. Social media, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I do thoroughly encourage you to go and check it all out. Like I said, I posted an Instagram video to our Facebook page just because it was funny, and we all feel like that sometime. And it was a good, so, that's what we put up there. We want to put stuff that is light, bright, helpful, enlightening, and funny. That's who we are. All right. We want to make a world that works for everybody. We start with ourselves. And if we can't laugh at ourselves, All right. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That is the constant contact email. And it will get you access to everything else. So, yeah, there's that. And the hot links are hot. Click here now. We'll get you to, it'll take you right to the information you want of the person that can help you get it. All right. I think I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a non-resistant day, a harmony day, a peaceful day, a calm day, a invite people into your calm day, a keep their storm at bay day, a know who you are day, a explore the truth of your being day, a get to know yourself as God knows you today, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a godling, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. The amazing thing is we do live in a state of grace. Okay? God will always give us that grace. It is up to us to extend that grace to our fellow godlings. Okay? So, get to know who you are. Explore the truth of your being. Peel back the layers of who you have been told you are. Get to know who God knows you to be. I can promise you, that is a pretty cool person. Okay? As I remember the meme from when I was a small child. God don't make no junk. All right? Get to know who you are at the level of your being. Okay, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you around 9 a.m. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.